Denise, Denise, it's Denise, it's Denise, it's Denise, Denise, it's a podcast party, it's a podcast party, it's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is Denise Salcedo. You're watching Speak Now Pro Wrestling here on F4W Online. It is Friday, February 17th. We are on the eve of Elimination Chamber. Today, we had an early start time for AEW Rampage. Oh my God, thank goodness. Because right now, if not, I'd still be working at this. Well, I am still working, but you get me. I would be working a lot later tonight, and I'm so happy. I love early start times. I kind of wish we had them all the time. I prefer Rampage at 4 p.m. Than 7 p.m. That's for sure. But we had 1 hour Rampage today at an early start time, and then we had 2 hour Smackdown as always. And on top of that, we had the return of Sami Zayn to Montreal. We had Gunther versus Madcap Moss in an Intercontinental Championship match. We have a couple of things to talk about here today. It's going to be an interesting show. I feel like we don't have too much to talk about, but the things we are going to talk about might take up a certain amount of time, especially when we get into the Bray Wyatt stuff and all of that. But we got a couple of super chats to kick us off here today, and we'll go ahead and jump right into them. Here we go. Let's see what you, the people, are saying on this Friday night. We got Grapple Geekery kicking us off saying, man, I wish Rampage started at this time every week. Dude, I completely agree with you, man. I had dinner while I was watching Rampage. It was great. Like I after this show, I'm probably going to go to Target or something. Like, I never have time to do anything on a Friday night. And this time I do. And my big plans are Target, apparently. That's actually pretty sad and pathetic, but whatever. Let's move on from that. We got a super chat here from Matt's Musings who says, I knew this was going to be brought up. Matt Musing says, so Tony Khan seems kind of petty, LOL. This was in reference to, for those of you guys who don't know, Tony Khan did tweet out his thoughts on the appearance of Ariel Helwani on SmackDown here tonight. Ariel did appear twice on today's SmackDown, and, you know, basically just pumping up the crowd. He is from Montreal, and Tony Khan, you know, made sure to share his thoughts on that. And so that's kind of like the thing right now that people are talking about. That's the buzz right now on the internet. Brandon Rosen sends in a super chat saying, holy shit, those fans lost their minds for Sami Zayn. They'll get the ultimate heartbreak when he loses. Hey, WWE, why you always gotta do Montreal dirty? First Bret Hart, now this. Man, poor Montreal, man, seriously. But no, for reals, we'll talk more about this later on once we actually get to it. But if you guys did not watch the crowd reaction to Sami Zayn and just everything that, everything that happened with the closing of SmackDown, oh man, if anybody deserves a reaction like that, it is Sami Zayn for all the work that he has done. He was, somebody that carried a very long-term storytelling here with the bloodline, with Roman Reigns right now when Roman Reigns is at the hottest. I mean, he just really deserves all of the applause that he is getting. I was actually just in the kitchen right now, and I was getting ready for my show, and my husband just came home from work, and I was like, you know what? He was like, what? And I was like, I just got to say, I really love Sami Zayn. And he just looked at me. He's like, that's so random. And I'm like, oh, this is what happened on SmackDown. And I was telling him, like, I can't think of another wrestler that I like legitimately just genuinely love across the board, because just Sami Zayn is so freaking likable that he just has that natural likability. Like, you can't hate Sami Zayn. I mean, there's a lot of other people that I like, clearly, but just Sami Zayn has something so special that you can't teach. It's just like in that person. And so I was making sure to talk about that right now because I was in such a good mood with how the show ended. And clearly they did that because chances are there are going to be heartbreakers heartbroken people tomorrow night, that's for sure. But thank you so much to Brandon Rosen for also sending in that super chat. We got another one here who said from David Wiseman. Thank you so much to David, who says Kevin Owens will help Sami win the title tomorrow night. I don't know, man. That is a very, if that's your prediction, chances are you're in the minority on this one. Everybody's expecting Roman Reigns to defeat Sami Zayn. However, if you're right, let's just say you're right, dude, brag about that. Brag about having this prediction if you're right and if things go down this way tomorrow night. But I don't know, man. This one's a tough one. But thank you so much to David for sending in that super chat. We got Patrick, who's Patrick Scrogans. Thank you so much to Patrick, who says, so happy Worlds Apart is back. This was definitely a question that a lot of fans had. Would it be coming back? Would it not? And it is. So thank you so much to Patrick Scrogans for also sending that in. We got a super chat here from Hannah Hume. Thank you so much to Hannah, who says, I really liked the opener for Rampage. It was so fun to watch. So excited for Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta on Wednesday. Exactly. And that we had, for those of you who are wondering, the opening for AEW Rampage was the Elite versus Top Flight. And we kind of already knew, and AR Fox, excuse me. Somehow I butt in AR Fox along with Top Flight. I mean, they're teaming all the time. He might as well be part of Top Flight. But we had Top Flight and AR Fox against the Elite. And honestly, I mean, we had already seen this match before, but this one was entirely different. I'll talk about it in a second, but it was a really fun way to kick off Rampage. I actually thought today's episode of Rampage was one of the most strongest episodes of Rampage that we've had in a couple of weeks. So I'm definitely in agreement there with Hannah about that opening match. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about that. So we had the Elite versus Top Flight and AR Fox. It was for the trios titles. This was basically made on Dynamite this week. Top Flight once again challenged the Elite to a match at Rampage. And it was funny because first they didn't want to actually do the match. And then they basically said, oh, so you guys just like to play with balls, but you don't actually have any. Well, balls were all over the place for this match. This is the best way to describe this match. This is like if you we're watching a basketball game that turned into a wrestling match. That was this match here. So obviously you guys know that the special start time was due to the All-Star game. And so that's why they were bumped earlier for tonight, because the All-Star game would be airing immediately after Rampage. And so this whole opening match between the Elite and Top Flight and AR Fox was literally basketball themes. They were doing cool moves with the basketballs. They incorporated the basketballs. They were like dribbling and all of this. Everything was basketball themed in this match. And so while I didn't think it was as good as their first matchup that they had together, this one to me was just, it was fun. It was different, but it was not a match that I would say you take seriously, maybe like the way you did with their first encounter. So I like that they did something different, clearly in the theme, clearly, to promote the All-Star game and all of that. So I thought that given that this all fell into the theme of things, it was pretty enjoyable. But what I'm most happy about in regards to this is that I had been kind of feeling like ever since the Elite was done with the best of 7 series with the Death Triangle, I was starting to feel like the Elite was almost like there wasn't anything too major going on with them on the show. They didn't feel like the top stars that they should be on AEW. And so I was starting to kind of feel like, man, I don't like the spot that the Elite is in right now. Like they're champions, but ever since, their best of 7 series, we haven't really been, they haven't been really feeling like a big deal on the show. And I didn't really like that because the Elite, in my opinion, should always be a big deal on the show for multiple reasons. And so I was kind of thinking like, man, what are they going to do with the Elite? Clearly, they already did everything that they could with Top Flight and AR Fox, at least for right now. So what's next? And there was a couple weeks ago, somebody brought up the House of Black and saying that they were on this chat. They were saying that they were looking forward, to the House of Black coming out immediately after they defeated the Death Triangle. I wasn't expecting them at that moment, but they did end up coming out here tonight, which felt a little bit more appropriate because after they got their win, what do you call it? They ended up coming out, they had their moment, and they kind of just like stared them down. There was like no words exchanged or anything like that, but it was made crystal clear that the Elite is now going to be moving on to a feud with the House of Black. And this is great. This is phenomenal because the Elite, like I said, they weren't feeling like a big deal on the show, and they always should, because I felt like after the Best of 7 series, there was really not too much to really be, I think, completely excited about. And so for me, I feel like now that they're going into this program with the House of Black, it makes them just feel a lot bigger on the show, as they should, right? As they should. Like, you got the Elite is there. Finally, they're back. Like, let's keep it going. Let's keep riding the momentum. They just won the title off of this incredible series that they had with the Death Triangle. Like, keep that going. And then on top of that, the House of Black, they also recently came back. And again, for House of Black, it's kind of been hit or miss. And the stuff that they were doing with Eddie and Ortiz and all of that, I wasn't feeling that at all. I was completely disconnected from that. So I'm so happy that now we're rebounding to House of Black and the Elite. So this feels a lot more exciting and a lot more, just a lot more interesting. So I think it definitely benefits both sides. But we got a super chat, a very generous one here from Heidi Ho. Thank you so much to Heidi, who says, Sami has to get destroyed tomorrow night. Some stories need a tragic ending. Oh, Yeller's a classic for a reason. You know, I actually haven't seen that movie. I heard it's really sad, but I've never actually seen it. But I know what happens. I won't give any spoilers for those that haven't seen it or plan to see it. But man, it's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a hard one. But I think for the most part, a lot of us are prepared for it. At least I know I'm going to be sad about it, but what can you do? What can you do? Heidi Hope, thank you so much for this generous super chat. It's much appreciated, man. We actually have another generous super chat from Hunter Tillman. Thank you so much to Hunter, who says, so happy they brought back Worlds Apart. I literally started crying because that song does not miss. The hometown country love Sami received was so well deserved. I don't think I've ever seen Sami cry before. Man, I was just taking like screenshot after screenshot during this, because I just loved like all of the reactions that like Sami was having during this. And you can tell, like, dude, like no BS. He was legitimately, you know, happy. I mean, it's his hometown, man. Going into one of his biggest matches of all time. Here's some of the screenshots that I grabbed. And yeah, there he goes, you know, fully just like feeling all the moments here. And so yeah, as you can tell, I grabbed a bunch of screenshots. SmackDown's the easiest show for me to screenshot. So thank you so much to Hunter Tillman for the super chat. And I completely agree with you on all of that. Chris sends in a super chat saying, if Sami beats Roman at WrestleMania, what then? Can it last? Look, if Sami were to beat Roman, whether it happens at Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania or whatever, right? Whatever. I would be shocked, first and foremost. I would be shocked. But I would expect Sami to have a freaking awesome reign, because I think a lot of people forget that Sami can go. Sami isn't just a lovable, funny guy. No, he's more than that. He's a great freaking wrestler. And I mean, I've been seeing Sami since, you know, way back before he even went into WWE. And I've seen the stuff that he can do. And also in WWE, seen the stuff that he can do. And I do think that it can last if they actually gave him a proper run and the proper opportunity. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on all of that. But thank you so much to Chris for sending in the super chat as well. All right, so let's get into let's finish off Rampage here. So we did get Daniel Garcia versus Ricky Starks, and this one here. This one was probably a little bit the least my favorite thing that we saw on Rampage here today. But it's leading, I think, to, you know what, it's building to something at least. And I know we've kind of had a little bit of a hard time with the Jericho appreciation stuff. I get it. And, you know, Ricky Starks was Ricky Starks, everything that he did with MJF felt really hot and it felt really good. And now things have kind of gone down just a little bit. And I didn't want to see that for Ricky Starks, because I really love Ricky Starks and we waited so long for him to even get to this moment. So I do kind of feel a little bit like I just want to fast forward to like the culmination of this Jericho appreciation Ricky Starks, Action Andretti storyline, because the last couple of weeks really haven't been great. The Impractical Joker stuff wasn't good. Jericho coming in as a masked fan and costing him the match, that wasn't too great either. We've talked about some of the other misses, so it feels like there's been a little bit more misses than hits in this whole storyline. This matchup itself was okay. Pretty much, we had Daniel Garcia going after Ricky Stark's legs. He had heard it in the commercial break. So during the picture-in-picture, we see him get his leg get rammed into the steel steps, and that was something that they had to replay afterwards because it was a major part of the match that ended up occurring when probably people weren't watching. So throughout this, you see it affect Ricky Starks. So finally, we do see Sammy Guevara get involved here, but Action Andretti comes in and takes him out. This was hilarious because they were both dressed exactly the same, like literally exactly the same. I couldn't stop laughing. I shared the picture on Twitter, and somebody wrote that it looks like a fight between two guys at Abercrombie, and I couldn't stop laughing about that. And now I wish I would have captioned it that had I thought about it. But Sammy basically wants a match against Action Andretti. I'm looking forward to that because they both wrestle a fast-paced style, and they also, do crazy things. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the matchup between Action Andretti and Sammy Guevara. And it was funny too because Sammy kept calling Action Andretti a kid. He kept calling him a kid, and I'm like, what is the age difference between Sammy and Action Andretti? So Sammy's 29. Sammy's 29, Action Andretti is only 25. For some reason, I thought he was like 21 or something, but he's 25. So I thought it was pretty hilarious that they have a 4-year age difference, yet Sammy's calling him a kid. I feel like that's like the running joke now in wrestling. Whenever someone gets called a kid, they're like the same age or one guy's older. I know that happened with, who was it with? Finn Balor and somebody else, I think. But that was pretty funny. Either way, it's like I said, it's been hit or miss with the Jericho Appreciation, Ricky Starks, Action Andretti stuff, but I do think that there's still a lot of potential, hopefully, and this is definitely a way to kind of get things back on track. Sammy versus Action Andretti, I'm actually expecting to be really good. Grapple Geekery says, I looked at my phone through the whole match. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Stephen Marchulli sends in a super chat saying, will Ronda's second run be disappointing without a Becky match? So with Ronda Rousey, and we'll talk more about her in just a second, but I'm not expecting her to have the title anytime soon right now. I'm not expecting to see her a SmackDown Women's Champion anytime soon. That's a little bit of where I'm at right now with her. But I mean, everybody's been wanting that Becky match for the longest time, and we still haven't gotten it. So I don't know when they're officially going to do that. It kind of feels like the moment's passed a little bit, but I could be wrong. Thank you so much to Steven for sending in that super chat. Oh my God. Grapple Geekery sends in a super chat saying, the Jazz has cooled off everyone in it off for me. Sucking Stroke Daddy into Jericho's mid-card vortex is unforgivable. Look, I've said this before, but it does kind of feel like the Jericho Appreciation Society is really only about Jericho, and that's fine, but it hasn't necessarily, I think, elevated anybody else. Maybe Sammy, but Sammy was kind of elevated, even prior with the inner circle stuff. And, Sammy was just a little bit more involved then. And even then, a lot of the best moments for Sammy was whenever he was having like singles matches, because Sammy's really good too. And he's very entertaining to watch. Like, let's not forget one of his most memorable matches was against Cody Rhodes in Cody Rhodes' last AEW match. Let's not forget that. So I do kind of feel like eventually it's going to be time to break away Sammy Guevara and Jericho. But if you're going to ask me like, hey, do you have interest in anybody else in the Jericho Appreciation Society? My honest answer right now is going to be no. I mean, I've talked about this. When it comes to Jake Hager, the way he got over with because of a purple hat. A purple hat. That's what worked. The purple hat. Let's not forget the purple hat and give a little bit of credit to it. So that's kind of where I'm at. But again, I think it's time to switch things up, but whatever. Next up, we got Jade Cargill versus Vert Vixen. This is pretty much, I have the same exact thoughts that I've kind of had for the last couple of Jade matches. And the one thing that I do wish that they will I wish that they changed up the format of Jade Cargill's matches because they pretty much give her the exact same match, but with a different opponent. There's only been a handful of matches that have legitimately stuck out to me because they felt different. And we've talked about this before, but one of them was the one that she had with Sky Blue, because they actually gave her a little bit of a different kind of a match. And that's a little big. Unfortunately, all of these matches pretty much look exactly the same, but they're just different opponents. And so that's been the one thing where I feel that it's kind of hurting Jade's reign just a little bit, because I don't feel like it's a big deal anymore when she's getting these wins because the matches are all exactly the same. So I would like to see a little bit more. I would like for them to use these opportunities to give the other women in the match a little bit more shine, make them kind of feel like they may have a chance at Jade Cargill, make them feel like they're getting close, but damn, you know what? Jade Cargill's just too good and she couldn't be defeated by this person. And I don't necessarily feel that they've done that each and every single time. They've actually done it far and few in between. So that's been one of the things that has kind of not been so great, but this was pretty much what I expected. And Jade's now on to her 53rd win. I'm assuming now she's going to get to 100. I don't know. I feel like it has to be an important number like 75, 100, like one of those numbers. It just can't be like 54. 54 doesn't feel like an important number. So we'll see. This is going to keep going for a bit. But yeah, I would really like it if you kind of like, I want to come out of this, for example, like Vert Vixen. I've seen her, work quite a bit before, but not too much, though. Not enough to where I can say like, oh yeah, I know all about Vert Vixen. Not exactly. So I personally would like to come out of this thinking, you know what? Shit, I want to go look up more Vert Vixen matches because of the match that she had with Jade Cargill tonight. And I would like to say that about a lot of the different people that maybe we've seen, especially the people that we aren't really familiar with on the show. So that's kind of where I'm at on this one here. Grapple Geekery sends in a super chat saying, I also looked at my phone during this one. Grapple Geekery, thank you so much for the super chat. And let's see what we got here. We got Major Blood who says that Jade's run through the entire division aside from a few, as well as random indie wrestlers. Her reign should have ended a while ago. See, it's not even the length of the reign, guys. Like, I don't mind the length of the reign. I think the length of the reign it's important to Jade Cargill. I think she needs to be TBS champion. Like, to me, it's part of her. It's part of who she is. It's just a matter of switching up the matches that she's having, making them feel different instead of pretty much identical. So that's a little bit of where I'm at with this one here. Oh, YT says, what about 69? I don't know if they would do it that way, man. I don't know. Although it would be pretty funny, though. It would be pretty funny. All right, let's go ahead and move on because this was definitely the best part of the show. And we pretty much knew that it would be. And this is Dustin Rhodes versus Swerve Strickland. So this was a pretty fun one. Obviously, they've been, going back and forth now for a bit. Swerve's, been attacking Dustin Rhodes and all of this. And they had a really nice little promo beforehand. I'm just such a fan of Dustin. I have nothing but respect for Dustin. And I always look forward anytime he gets to wrestle on AEW. But this was a pretty fun match, man. Instantly, we see Parker Boudreaux go after him, and he pretty much comes out. Dustin Rhodes was coming out with like a turnbuckle in his hands, so he just like smacks him out of the way and gets into this match with Swerve Strickland. And right away, it is just like hot action back and forth. One point, Swerve throws Dustin into the barricade, and so I was gonna say the barricade gets busted open. Dustin gets busted open. They come back into the ring, do a couple more exchanges. We see a code red from Dustin, goes for the pin. It's a near fall. At one point, there's a double crossbody, and then there's another point where Dustin's finally gonna get the win, and it looks like he's gonna get the win, but Parker pulls the leg of Dustin, and so yanks him out of this match, and eventually. We do see Swerve get his victory, but basically what we have here, though, afterwards is pretty much a build you could have kind of predicted where this was going to go. In the beginning, I was thinking, okay, maybe they're going to go all the way to Revolution. Maybe we'll see Dustin and Swerve at Revolution. But then as this continued on, we ended up seeing a beatdown between Parker and Swerve beating down Dustin. And we pretty much knew what was going to happen at this point because Parker brought out the cylinder block, the same cylinder block that took out Keith Lee. And commentary made sure to mention that right away, saying, oh, that's the same cylinder block that took out Keith Lee. The second they said that, I'm like, okay, Keith Lee's about to come out. Keith Lee's about to come out, and chances are we're going to be seeing a tag team match or something at Revolution. So, pretty much it kind of felt pretty obvious at this point. Keith Lee comes out. He dyed his hair. He's got like silver hair now. So he comes out looking like a silver fox. So he comes out there and he takes out Parker with a headbutt, and then he tries to do the same to Swerve, but Parker throws his body in front of Swerve like he's taking a bullet for him. It's great, actually. And then afterwards, Swerve runs away, and so Keith Lee picks up Dustin, and that's pretty much it. So I'm assuming we're probably going to be seeing Swerve and Parker versus Dustin and Keith. I don't know. That feels like maybe they might just do the one-on-one between Swerve and Keith Lee. It kind of feels like I don't know. I feel like they have to include Dustin into this because I don't feel like Dustin got a proper resolution here at the end of this match, and he should also be pissed given that both Swerve Strickland and Parker were both punching him with a chain. So I don't know if they're going to go the tag team direction or maybe do the tag team match first and then afterwards do Swerve versus Keith Lee at Revolution. Maybe that's what they're going to do. We'll see. So either way, this was funny. This was also funny because we found out that they pretty much clarified that Trench is the other guy, the tattoo guy, was taken out by Keith Lee. And I can tell you that I was today's years old when I found out this guy's name was supposed to be Trench. I didn't even know. Honestly, I didn't even know. But that's pretty much what we got from that. We got a super chat here from Heidi Ho who says, I wish AEW would trade Jade to WWE for Ollie. I feel they are both out of place in the company they're in. Jade needs to be in WWE and Ollie needs to be in AEW. I feel like it's interesting when people, like the part where you said that they feel out of place. It's interesting that you say that because I didn't think about it that way until you actually said it. So thank you for sharing this super chat, Heidi Ho. I really, really appreciate you for sending that in. Okay, so we do need to talk a little bit about let me get this 1 second. Okay, so we need to talk about the matches that were also announced because they made some announcements, as well as Tony Khan is going to be having an important announcement on Dynamite. So prediction time. What do we predict Tony Khan's important announcement on Dynamite is going to be? So this is where I'm at. And if anybody else has something different, please let me know what you're thinking. So my first thing that I'm thinking is I'm guessing he's going to make an official announcement about about Ring of Honor television. It was pretty much already revealed in an interview that he did that March, I forgot what the date is, but March, we're going to be having Ring of Honor TV on the Honor app, on the Honor app. Is that what it's called? The Honor Club app? Honor Club, Honor app? Okay, on there. So why am I blanking on this? All right, anyways. So he's going to be making an announcement. That's my first prediction about that, like an official announcement about Ring of Honor TV. And then the other thing that I'm thinking is maybe some more information on the London show, because I don't think we've gotten anything else from that. It was just AEW is coming to London 2023, and it hasn't been promoted in a very long time. We haven't heard anything that's been, any latest news on that just yet. That's another prediction. And maybe something Revolution related. I'm trying to think what else. I had something else, and now I'm blanking on what I thought my other prediction was, but maybe somebody else here will remind me here. Yeah, he did do that ESPN deal, but I don't think they're going to announce that on there. I don't think so. I'm pretty much thinking it's going to be about Ring of Honor. That feels like what they're going to do there. Thank you, Honor Club. Oh, there you go. Bonkers LFC also brings up Forbidden Door. That was also mentioned in an interview that he is looking to doing a second Forbidden Door. Maybe that could be another announcement. Let's see what else we got. There was one more thing that I was thinking about here, and I'm completely blanking on it. And it was similar. Oh, yeah. The Ring of Honor show on March 30th, 31st in LA. Something that Tony Khan had said at the AEW Dynamite show in LA was he had said that show was going to be including a bunch of different companies. Nothing else has been said on that either. So I'm wondering if maybe we're going to get some, I don't know, groundbreaking information for that maybe. YT brings up the video game. I'm not a gamer, so I can't even tell you what predictions I'm assuming for video game stuff because I don't know squat about video games. But there you go. That's a little bit of, what we're thinking here, or at least what I'm thinking. Chris sends in a super chat. Thank you so much to Chris, who says, important announcement. Dear AEW fans, I need to overstuff this pay-per-view, so the following 19 matches are at Revolution, which could happen at any Dynamite. Okay, so I think like right now we only have 4 matches announced for AEW Revolution, and so far I'm pretty stoked about all the 4 matches that they've announced, but I think it's pretty obvious a little bit of where we're going. Like the Elite, chances are it's going to be the Elite and House of Black. We were just talking about Keith Lee and Dustin and Swerve and all of that. That's another one. Keep in mind that we have a 1-hour match on there, so that's going to take up a lot of time, and I don't know what other matches might be announced that I'm not thinking about right now, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be several more. Usually there's like about 13, I feel, when you include all the like the earlier matches, the pre-show matches, all of that. Who knows? WV David R says Denise would challenge Jade. I will be Jade's crappiest opponent. She'll just look at me and tell me to get out of her way. I will lay down. I will lay down for Jade. Like literally, I'll just lay there and do nothing. RS sends in a very generous super chat saying Tony shoots on Mike Tyson and Ariel this coming Wednesday. Oh man. For those of you who don't know what RS is talking about in regards to Mike Tyson. So Mike Tyson, let me pull this up really quickly so I don't mess up the words here. Mike Tyson, in an interview or in some podcast appearance, apparently with The Undertaker, hot boxing. Yeah, there you go. Hot boxing with Mike Tyson. He was there with NFL player Sebastian Joseph Day and The Undertaker. Maybe he just said this because The Undertaker was there. Who knows? But he said, this is quote from Mike Tyson. He says, Tony Khan and those guys, yeah, these guys want me on the show and stuff before. These guys want to put me on the show and stuff before, but I don't care if they got more money. If Vince put me on a show, I'd rather go there, even though they, AEW, pay more money. So he says he'd rather appear on WWE, even though AEW pays more money. Now, granted, I don't think Mike Tyson needs money, so I think it maybe depends on your outlook and how you see this. This is very, very, how do I explain it? I almost feel like this was said just to this was something that was easily going to be a headline. Like this is an instant headline for sure. But there you go. That's pretty much what Mike Tyson said for those of you guys who might have missed it. But let's see what else we got here. Mike Parker sends in a super chat. Thank you so much to Mike, who says they need an on-screen figure to do announcements. Tony's not good in public speaker to be polite. Look, here's the thing about this. When it comes to this, look, I always feel like Tony's very, very, very excited. And I like that. I like for someone to come out and be excited. He's the owner of the company. I feel like him coming out and doing his announcements, it works because that's who he is. So for me, I'm not against him coming out and doing the public speaking. I'm not against that at all. It's his company. It's his company. He comes out, he's excited. And regardless if maybe things aren't like pitch perfect, it's one of those things where you, how do I explain it? Like, it's who he is, right? Like he's going to come out and make his own announcements. So, and he has had a lot of announcements that were technically made by Tony Schiavone. That is something that has been done in the past. But then again, like I said, I don't feel like it takes away from that. I think the fans, they want to see Tony Khan. Like they want to see Tony Khan be the one to come out and make the announcements. It feels more special when the owner of the company is coming out and making those announcements. So yeah, I disagree with this. I do think that Tony Khan coming out and making his announcements is the thing for him to do. But thank you so much to Mike Parker for also sending in this generous super chat. And let's see what else we got here and what people are saying about this. But there we go. We actually have to go over more stuff that was announced for Dynamite. We already know about Jon Moxley versus Evil Uno. We already know about the Battle Royale that's going to be happening. We're also going to be getting an AEW All-Atlantic Championship match. Somebody mentioned earlier they were excited about this one, Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta. This one should be fun. They had a little fun confrontation at the back today on AEW Rampage. We're also going to be getting the Acclaimed versus Lee Moriarty and Big Bill. So that should be fun too. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. Saraya is going to be wrestling Sky Blue. I'm looking forward to this one a lot because Sky Blue is somebody that is genuinely liked. And I really like Sky Blue. And she's somebody that we've been saying for like the longest time. The second she starts being seen consistently on TV, she's going to become a fan favorite. You know, she's going to get there someday. Christian Cage is doing an interview with Tony Schiavone. Christian Cage, as you know, just came back and, you know, they're they're restarting where they left off with Christian Cage. With Jungle Boy and everything like that. And we're also going to be getting a Bryan Danielson promo. Makes sense since we're heading into Revolution. All right, so that was AEW Rampage. Now let's go ahead and get into WWE SmackDown. So there were a couple of things that are going to be interesting to talk about here and some things that kind of just didn't matter. We got Natty and Shotzi teaming up to take on Shayna and Ronda. This was a nice way to kick off the show because Natty, obviously Canadian, so she comes out and you hear her music right away. So everybody, you know, she's going to get a nice little reaction for sure since it's in her home country and whatnot. But we're getting You Can't Wrestle chants to Ronda Rousey. Ooh, that was a little bit embarrassing. The biggest pop of this match really came with Natty had the sharpshooter, and clearly people are going to react very nicely to that in Canada for sure. Nice respectful applauses for the sharpshooter. She had the sharpshooter locked in on Ronda Rousey. Personally, I think that this could have been like a nice way to end the match, but you knew the heels had to win in this. So Shayna breaks it up. She breaks up that sharpshooter, and then Shayna and Natty go at it on the outside. And then afterwards, inside the ring, we have Natty. So on the outside of the ring, we got Natty and Shayna going at it. And then on the inside of the ring, we have Ronda Rousey locking in the armbar on Shotzi. And then Shotzi quickly taps out. So that's kind of where we're at with this. There really wasn't much else to add about this. I could kind of care less. So personally, I'm ready to move on. But let's get into this next one here because this next one, how do I explain this? If you didn't watch SmackDown today, you're not going to believe that all of this happened in one segment. So this whole thing happened in one segment. We started off with a Hit Row concert. And I'm thinking, oh, no, I don't want to watch the Hit Row concert. No. And thank the Lord that this only lasted like a minute or so. Thank God, because I was not in the mood to sit here and watch a Hit Row concert. So they go out there and they're rapping and they're doing their thing and they're saying, oh, this is the place where Brett screwed Brett and they can't wait to leave Canada. And then the lights go off and I'm thinking, oof, thank goodness. The lights go off and you're wondering, okay, what's going to happen? Very quickly, you realize that it's Bray Wyatt and Bray Wyatt's going to come out. So Bray Wyatt comes out. Uncle Howdy comes out. Uncle Howdy gets, I think it's Ashanti. They take him out and then afterwards, Uncle Howdy gets Ashanti the Adonis in with the sister Abigail. So eliminates them. They're gone. Toodaloo. Bye-bye Hit Row. All right. So then it's just Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy. And I'm like thinking, okay, well, what's Bray Wyatt going to say? I don't know. I really wasn't expecting too much from this. I was thinking, okay, he's probably going to say the same things that he said before. Maybe they're going to unmask Uncle Howdy. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. And let me tell you, I was completely thrown off and surprised by the following words. So he says that whoever wins tomorrow night between Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar that whoever wins, whoever walks out alive, should run. Essentially warning them because he's going after whoever wins that match. So the prediction here is Brock Lesnar defeats Bobby Lashley. Brock Lesnar might be Bray Wyatt, or Bray Wyatt, however you want to see it, Bray Wyatt's WrestleMania opponent, Brock Lesnar's WrestleMania opponent. It's looking like it's going to be, based on this, Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. Again, could be completely wrong. Maybe it could be Bobby Lashley, Bray. I don't know. But I'm assuming it's going to be the likelier option. Feels like it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. Now, this was completely unexpected. A lot of us were thinking they were probably going to do Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar again at WrestleMania. But it's looking like it may be Bray. So this is kind of, like I said, unexpected. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, if we get Brock versus Bray at WrestleMania, I'm a little bit torn because here's the thing. And I know this is going to be controversial, so fasten in your seatbelt. And I know not everyone's going to agree with me here, but there's two parts of me here. If they do Brock versus Bray, first of all, Bray kind of has to prove that he can go at it like in the ring there with Brock. Like if he, because we've just been getting so many promos. The LA Knight Pitch Black match was an utter complete disaster. Like that was not good. Nobody cared. It stank up the place. All right. So what you want to see is an exciting match. Sorry, my mom's calling me. What you want to see is an exciting match between Bray and Brock. If he doesn't have an exciting match with Brock, I'm kind of lose hope. Brock is a really easy guy to have a pretty damn exciting match with. So I'm hoping that goes well there. But then I'm thinking, because, Bray's super athletic, guys. Like, especially for a guy his size, he's an athletic guy. So I feel like the matchup between him and between him and Brock could be something. But here's my other thing. Who wins this match? Brock or Bray? And I'm torn here because I feel Bray needs it the most. But at the moment, I cannot buy Bray defeating Brock Lesnar. I do think Bray needs it. He would need this victory, but I can't necessarily buy it at the moment. That's where I'm at. And I can guarantee there's going to be people that disagree with this. Let me hear your thoughts. Let me hear your takes on this one because, again, this kind of came out of nowhere. Let's see what we got here. Brandon Rosen sends in a super chat saying, could WWE bury Hit Row any deeper? Yeah, it's not looking too good for Hit Row, guys, but it's not like they've necessarily have done themselves, credit, Brent M sends in a super chat saying, see you tomorrow night. Cheap plug for your watch along. Man, thank you, man. Seriously, I am doing a watch along tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about it. I think watch alongs are really fun. So thank you to Brent M, and I hope to see you there as well. Okay, so let's see where we're at here. Let's see. Kayaput says, Brock would be the most entertaining pick. If Brock wants to work with Bray, this could be amazing. We don't want to see a repeat of Brock versus Dean Ambrose because I remember WrestleMania, 32? When Brock and Dean Ambrose went at it. I remember that was the match I was most looking forward to. Like that was my match that WrestleMania. I was so excited about it. And then it happened and I was like, nah, this sucked. It sucked so bad. I was so pissed. That was the match I was most excited for, and it didn't deliver. And so like you've mentioned, if Brock wants to do, if he likes, you can tell when he likes somebody and he's gonna, have a fun match with them. But again, that's where we're at. Let's see what else we got here. Steven says, I don't see the whole mind game supernatural stuff working with Brock. Elliot Fletcher says Bray versus Brock could be very bad, but could also be potentially very funny because Brock rules. Let's see what else we got here. We got David here who says, I'm tired of Bray's return already. No matches of interest, which is why this match with Brock Lesnar has to be a good one if that's the direction that they decide to go into it. Matt Kensley says, I know they won't because it won't work for the character, but I just want to see Brock kill Bray and more or less squash him. I cannot believe Bray getting the better of Brock. And that's a little bit of where I'm at, where I can't believe Bray getting the best of Brock. I'm with you on that one here. I don't necessarily agree that I want to see him get squashed. I don't want to see that because that would hurt Bray Wyatt. I don't think that would benefit him at all. So I'm a little bit I'm a little bit in disagreement there. I want to see them have an entertaining and good match between both of them, honestly. And all right, let's see what else we got. And Larry Benton wants to know where the watch along is going to happen. It's going to be on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. That's where I do my watch alongs for the pay-per-views that I'm not at. I do the watch alongs on my channel. Just heads up, I don't actually show the stream so that I won't get copyrighted by Peacock. That was like the number one question last year, or not last year, the last time I did a watch along. Everybody thought they were going to see the actual stream. It's literally just to hang out. So I can't, for copyright reasons, show the actual broadcast. But Stephen Marchulli sends in a super chat saying a Bray loss to Brock kills Bray's momentum. Exactly. I know that. Like, I know like Bray would have to get a win here, but again, I can't buy it. I cannot buy it. So it's a hard one to answer. David Weitzman sends in a super chat saying Uncle Howdy could help Bray Wyatt win. I think Brock can put Bray over. Well, we'll see. Brock is an interesting fella, guys. I'm not even going to pretend to know what goes on in Brock Lesnar's head. No idea what he might be thinking. No idea. But thank you so much to David for also sending in that super chat. All right, man. Let's see what else we got. This one's funny. This is from Mike, who says, how would Brock react to something supernatural happening around him? You know, Brock's really good at the comedy stuff, but the supernatural stuff isn't supposed to be funny. You're supposed to be taking this seriously. Everything that Bray's doing with LA Knight is supposed to be taken seriously. Like, Brock can make a mockery out of it, but for the most part, you're supposed to be taking this seriously. It's not supposed to be seen as a it's not supposed to be seen as a joke. Like, that's not what the presentation of it is supposed to be. But there you go. That's where we're at with all of this. Let's see. All right. Let's move on from here. Let's get into Viking Raiders versus Drew and Sheamus. Honestly, there's not too much to say about this one here because their last match was really good and this match was really good too. You know what? I'm just happy that they're going out there and finally letting the Viking Raiders show what they can do and get them some brownie points back with the fans, because I had lost a tremendous amount of interest into the Viking Raiders. I had lost a lot of interest, and these matches with Drew and Sheamus, the first one and this one here, I've been completely on board with them, and this has been the most entertaining stuff that the Viking Raiders have done in quite some time. So there's nothing else much to say other than this was an entertaining match. But let's get into, I feel so bad, man. Every week I have to come out and say this. Every week I'm a jerk. I'm such a jerk, but man, every week it happens. Every week I forget that this is a feud. And I'm going to write it down on a Post-it and stick it on my computer to remind myself that Rey Mysterio and Karrion Kross are in a feud. Every week I forget. So we had a really nice moment that they showed from, I think it was a digital clip or something, between Rey Mysterio's and Santos Escobar, where he's pretty much telling him, he's the future of wrestling, and, they're bonding over, the shared mask experience and everything. That was really nice. I liked that. Then afterwards, he is doing an interview, Rey Mysterio, and he's interrupted by Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross says, he mocks him for being like a bad dad, and then says that it's actually Scarlett's opinion that he's a bad dad, and he gets in his face and just tells him to do something about it. And there really isn't anything different. This is so boring. I'm sorry. I'm a fan of Kross. I love Rey Mysterio. He's a freaking icon. Mysterio does no wrong in my eyes, but this feud is probably the most dull thing going on Smackdown right now. No one cares. It's taking too long. It's the same thing over and over again. I'm not interested. This is the one that I can't get interested in it at all. And I feel like it's hurting. It's hurting both sides here. It's hurting both sides. Like, they got to spice things up, man. Spice things up or fast forward this feud, because this has been going on for, I feel like, a couple months now, a couple weeks, however much time, but I'm completely and overly done with it. I'm sorry. This ain't for me. RS sends in a super chat saying, Denise, you should turn your watch along to a watch and drink along, get drunk with Salcedo and enjoy the chamber. All right. So a lot of you guys may not know this about me, or maybe some of you guys do, but I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I'm a straight edge. Look at me. I'm gonna get a straight edge belly tattoo. No, for reals. I don't drink. I really don't. It's never been for me. I did try it once and I didn't like it. I didn't like how it made me feel. I hated it. And I felt horrible about myself and I like hated myself for it. But that was years. Oh my God, it was like over a decade ago. So yeah, definitely not a drinker. And then I've never smoked a cigarette or anything in my entire life. I know people would probably think, oh, you're in California, you probably smoke a bunch of weed. No. I know I always look tired and sleepy. I swear I'm not high. Why am I saying all this? Someone stop me. But yeah, I'm pretty freaking square when it comes to all of this. But who knows? I'll come on here and, drink some water. Who knows? RS just got me to tell the whole world that I'm a square. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh man. All right. Let's press on from here. Mike SS Straight Edge Salcedo. I remember because I was a big I've always been a big CM Punk fan. And I remember when I discovered him and I learned what straight edge was because of CM Punk. And I was already not planning on doing any of that stuff because my mom would kick my ass. She would kick my ass so hard. And so I remember when CM Punk was talking about being straight edge and being better than everybody, I was like, oh, that's so awesome. I'm straight edge too. I'm better than everybody. That's what teenage me was thinking at the time. And my friends, they would always make fun of me. Always. They would be like, Denise, smoke. Because my friends, I don't know what the hell they were doing with cigarettes at the time. But you guys know in middle school and high school, kids, they get a hold of this stuff. And so I remember I had friends that were drinking 40s and my friends were smoking at the park and all of this stuff was happening around me. And I remember always being bullied for this. People would say stop listening to your mom, Denise. Your mom's not going to find out. Denise, stop listening to your mom. And I felt like such a loser. And then I would go home and tell my mom, I was asked to smoke cigarettes today. So anyways, that's my story, but neither here nor there. Listen to your mom, folks. Listen to your mom. But my mom had this thing, and maybe if you're a parent, you can probably steal this and tell this to your kids because it worked for me. But my mom had this thing where she would tell me, Denise, a mother always knows. A mother always knows what you're doing. And I'm like, I believed this. I truly believed that if I did something bad, my mom would instantly know about it. And so she did a really good job at fooling me. So, hey, if you're a parent, maybe just tell your kid that. You know exactly what they're doing. But there we go. Let's press on from here. Let's get into what was it after this? Asuka versus Liv Morgan. So this was a pretty fun little matchup here. We had a really nice strike exchange between Asuka and Liv that I really enjoyed. Asuka gets the win here, and this pretty much just led to Carmella, Nikki, Raquel, and pretty much everybody that's going to be in the chamber, the women's chamber, get involved and fight and this and that. We had Carmella on commentary. This was neither here nor there, but we did get everybody, on the show heading into Elimination Chamber. We had Gunther versus Madcap Moss for the Intercontinental Championship. And this, unfortunately, didn't really hit home. This didn't really hit for me, guys. I love Gunther, and I love every match that he's been in so far. I didn't really love this one because Madcap Moss hasn't been presented on this show as somebody that he's been presented more along the lines of, this is not a guy that you really take seriously, and don't blame me for this. Blame them, because this is the booking of this, Prior to all of this, what we mainly had with Madcap Moss was the hokey stuff that he was doing with Baron Corbin for the longest time. And then, lately we've been seeing a newer side of Madcap Moss, but it's not like this has been going on for a long time. We're just starting to see this new side of Madcap Moss. So I still cannot take Madcap Moss seriously enough to actually think he has a chance against Gunther. They're just presented on two different levels. And so whenever he did get a little bit more offense in this match than I thought that he kind of should, I actually thought Gunther should have just absolutely killed him and killed him fast. Sorry, but that's what I feel that that's the level of presentation that they've done with Madcap Moss. And I've said this before, but they need to change the name. If they're going to want us to take Madcap Moss seriously, they need to change the name. I cannot get behind Madcap Moss under this name. They need to change it. I'm sorry. I can't get into it. I can't take Madcap Moss seriously with this name. And I do think he has so much potential. He has such a great look. I'm ready to be a Madcap Moss fan, just with a different name. And I just want to see him maybe do a little bit more before we get him, actually taking him seriously and thinking that he could defeat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther wins. Surprise, surprise. Gunther wins. But the thing we need to talk about in regards to SmackDown is Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn comes out and, he's in his hometown, Montreal, and he gets his massive pop, his old music back, all of it. He comes out, he's getting Olay chants, Sami chants, you deserve a chance, all the chants in the world. This lasts several minutes, okay? Several minutes of just Sami being adored by the people. That's what this was, just Sami being adored. He couldn't get a word in because everybody was going crazy. I loved this. This was so nice to see. I mentioned this earlier, but Sami Zayn deserves this. He deserves this appreciation for everything he's done with the bloodline, with Roman Reigns, for getting himself over. Let me explain this because I need to rewind a little bit, because just to give you guys an example, I don't often buy t-shirts. It's kind of, I have to really like somebody or really like the t-shirt to actually buy it. I bought a couple of Sami Zayn t-shirts because of this. I was so freaking interested in this storyline. I had to get myself a t-shirt. Now, that may not mean anything to anybody, but it's not often that I go out of my way to go get a t-shirt unless it comes to me for free. But it just a little... Sami Zayn, from everything from the storytelling to the facial expressions to just the way he got over to the fact that we're going into this match with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, and there is a huge conversation surrounding whether or not that position, that spot should be going to Sami Zayn. Think about this, guys. Cody Rhodes, who literally came from AEW, jumped to WWE, has been talking about this moment, becoming WWE champion, getting over with the people, winning the Royal Rumble, and there is a big conversation as to whether or not that should be Sami Zayn. And so that, to me, deserves a lot of credit to Sami for everything that he has done. Roman Reigns here, being the undisputed universal champion and having somebody like Sami that was able to add a lot to his reign, add a lot to his story, because there wasn't really many people that we were saying, this person should have a great program with Roman Reigns. No. There really wasn't too many people like that. And they were able to do so much and take up so much of this time period with the bloodline storyline. And that, to me, deserves a lot of credit. Now, again, Sami Zayn's going into, like what they've been saying, the biggest match of his career against Roman Reigns, Elimination Chamber. It's going to be huge, guys. It's going to be freaking huge. Like, I've said this multiple times, but it really does have that big fight feel. I'm ready for it. We do hear Sami Zayn speak French at one point. I don't even know what he's saying, but it sounded freaking great. Usually I can translate for everybody here, but this time I cannot because I can't speak a lick of French. I have no idea, but this was freaking great, man. Just seeing Sami Zayn get his moment, it was well-deserved. He was out there crying. I kind of showed the pictures a little bit earlier, but just in case for those of you guys who missed it, here's a bunch of screenshots of Sami Zayn because I took like a bunch. I know. Let's see what else we got here. But we actually have a couple of super chats. Let's see what we got. This is from Heidi Ho. Thank you so much to Heidi Ho, who says, Roman versus Sami is going to be Canada's 13th reason. Thank you, Heidi Ho. Hang Tight Promotion says, he said, this is my fucking house in French. Did he really? Is that what he said? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's awesome. All right, let's see what else we got. We actually have another super chat. This one's from Brandon Rosen. Thanks so much to Brandon, who says, Sami will get his WrestleMania moment with him and Kevin Owens beat the Usos. That's truly the appropriate ending to Sami's story. he'll be fine. See, here's the thing, Brandon. Like, I get this. This is the most realistic option. This is like the most realistic thing that we can expect from this. Appropriate ending, though. Appropriate ending is debatable. That's debatable. I think some people might disagree, but it does feel like the most realistic option and the most realistic way in which they're going with this story. But I swear to God, if tomorrow we get like complete surprise and Sami Zayn defeats Roman Reigns, holy cow, that's going to be, I don't even know what I would do. I don't even know. It's going to be crazy. Brandon, thank you so much for the super chat as well. Alrighty, everyone. That is it for today. That was AEW Rampage and Smackdown for February 17th. For those of you who do not know, I am live here on Tuesdays for NXT, Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite, my most popular show of the week, and then Fridays, the most chill night, Smackdown and Rampage. If you guys love these shows or like these shows, please let me know. Tweet me, leave a comment, hit the like button, whatever helps. Any and all support helps to really just kind of keep the word going and spreading about the show and whatnot. So I appreciate you guys each and every single time for being here. Again, tomorrow my watch along is happening on my YouTube channel. And damn it, I thought I had the freaking no. Okay, here we go. I have the graphic. Okay. I paid for this graphic, so I might as well get some use out of it. So tomorrow, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. I'm going to be starting the stream 10 minutes before the actual broadcast. So come on in. It'll be a good time. We're just going to be hanging out, reacting. It will be a little bit different than this show, but it'll pretty much just be like a hangout. So youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. Make sure to be there. We got a couple of super chats to get into, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up the show. We actually have one from Dante NYC who says, I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H calls an audible. Probably not, but what if? See, here's the thing is that if this was any other crowd, then, you know, who knows, right? Who knows if this was any other crowd, but we already know what to expect from this specific crowd. It's not like they're going into the match thinking, oh, is the crowd going to cheer for Sami Zayn? No, they already know what the crowd reaction is going to be. So I don't expect there to be any sort of like audible because, again, they already know what the crowd reaction is going to be. So I don't know. But thank you so much to Dante NYC. Sheldon Jackson sends in a super chat. Thank you so much to Sheldon, who says, I'm thinking Sami gets beat down. Kevin Owens saves him. And then maybe they hug it out. Either way, I think you do got to send the fans home happy. And the best way to do that is by having Kevin Owens go out there and, you know, whatever the end result is, if he's getting beat down or whatever, or if, you know, he just, once he loses to Roman Reigns, if afterwards, you know, he's laying there and then he stands up, gets a standing ovation or whatever, and maybe Kevin Owens comes out, I don't know, and they have a moment. There's got to be a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn moment in there if, you know, he loses to Roman Reigns. You got to send the crowd home happy. Thank you so much to Sheldon for also sending in that super chat. Okay, I'm all caught up now. So thank you guys so much to everybody. I appreciate you all for being here. And again, I will see you tomorrow on the watch along, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. And do not forget to subscribe to F4W Online. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you so much.